traveling in Southeast Asia, particularly in Thailand, which is where I spent most of my time, and now in Maynmar, which is where I am at the moment, has been very interesting, very eye-opening. And I suppose I'd like to clarify for myself here what is it about these experiences that were particularly eye-opening via sharing it with you guys on publicly on a platform, on a public platform, because that's how I make these things clear for me. I'll have something in my head. I would like to know, what is it, Saeed, that you found eye-opening about the experience? So here it goes. It's for me, really. I mean, there's selfish motives behind making these videos. So first of all, clearly, and this isn't just my account. People here in Myanmar and Thailand, in these so-called third world countries, seem to be genuinely, it's genuine thing, more not happy, more content with life. There is more of a content attitude about things than anything I've ever seen living in Canada for 15 years. In Canada, it's the West, it's, the same system. America, Canada, Western Europe, it's sort of very similar in that, in many ways. And the feeling of contentment that you get from a very random person on the street here is, clearly much more elevated than the level of contentment of people living in the West, people living in, say, Canada, where I was living. And I really don't know why. I have no idea why. And I say I have no idea why because it's not like people are living here healthier lives. It's not like they're living more luxurious lives. I mean, after all, these are third world countries. I mean, you might have this idea in your head that, people in the West, for example, eat, McDonald's and fast food. Well, I'll tell you, the food most people eat here is, from a health perspective, more detrimental to one's health than even McDonald's. That's right. That's right. Okay, some of this, I mean, there's so many accounts of people, travel vloggers, getting food poisoning here. I mean, if you see, the street food and you see the oil that they cook the foods in, it's mostly cooked in oil and fried. I mean, no wonder why people come here and they get food poisoning when they eat the street foods, right? So I would imagine, the population, the masses of the population in these countries are not feeling very good inside their bodies because, the food they eat is unhealthy. The air they breathe, I mean, the air they breathe here, again, you're breathing much more superior air if you're living in a Western country. It's very polluted here, and I'm in the city center. So I go walk every day, and yeah, it's also humid and hot. So much it's the air is more polluted. So I'm looking at some of these things that we say, well, eat healthy, get better air, this and that. Well, in most Western countries, that seems to be going better for people there, and yet people have more money in the West, better food, better air. I would say better everything, right? Better houses, and yet I'm marveled. I'm astonished. Why? There's got to be something beyond these superficial things. The air quality and the food and all of that, which we usually say, well, if you have a better home, better air, better this, better that, you'll have a healthier lifestyle, a better life. You'll be happier. That doesn't seem to be more content. That doesn't seem to be the case. Because again, the air here is worse. The quality is worse. The food quality here is worse from a health perspective. So I could imagine people here suffering with all kinds of things health-wise. And yet, I'm really marveled. Why? Why? They seem genuinely more content. You see a lot more genuine smiles. I walk around and I have people just shouting random hellos at me. you know, and it's amazing. You know, the people here are amazing here in Southeast Asia, really. They're fantastic, fantastic people. So here we have these people that are, you know, breathing air that is anything but optimal, eating food that is anything but optimal, living in conditions in houses that are anything but optimal, old and moldy and unclean, garbage in the streets. You see this in major cities here. I mean, here in Yangon, smells like sewage all over. And yet, and yet, I go to buy watermelons a couple of days ago, and the lady sees me and she just gives me the biggest smile. And in all likelihood, it's an older lady. In all likelihood, this lady is suffering from all kinds of health issues. You know, again, just observing the laws of nature, what the people eat here. You know, she's, again, I mean, it's so noisy here too. She's living every day in this noise infested, pollution infested place, you know. And yet, she sees me and the biggest smile on her face. It's so amazing. So amazing. Okay, why is that? I don't know. I don't know. It's got to be something in the culture, perhaps. There has to be this, because I really do think that these cultures that I'm in here are love cultures. They're love based cultures. What do I mean by that? Love is the most powerful force in creation. And I think that because these cultures are love infused, they're love based cultures, that I really think that force of love overrides all these other factors that are draining the energy, that are draining and making life less appealing and less tolerable. I really think that love force in these cultures that I'm experiencing life through at the moment is the X factor here. You know, it's like, I really think so. Like, you know what, you know, if you fall in love with someone, with a person, right? And suddenly you're really in love with them, and suddenly everything they do is marvelous, everything they say is marvelous. uh you know, you don't care that their armpit stinks, or that their breath stinks, or this or that. You don't even notice these things anymore, because that you love this person so much that it all just dissipates, and there is just love. And that love force overwhelms everything. It overwhelms all the other things that you otherwise would have been aware of, that would have maybe deterred you or made you stay away from that person or whatever, or less appealing to you, less attractive. But it's that love force. You know, it's probably why, you know, people, they'll go and eat a big dinner and then make out for hours after, even though you just ate a big dinner, and uh, your breath probably stinks as much as the other person's, but you're both sort of in love, so you don't even notice that anymore. You don't notice these things anymore. You're in love, so that love force overwhelms, it overrides everything. And I really think that is the X factor in these cultures. I'm in Myanmar right now. You see it all over. Myanmar is very much chaotic. Yangon is the city that I'm in. Chaotic, polluted. You know, like it's crazy. Noise is all over. It's crazy. And yet, smiles everywhere. Genuine smiles. I think it's that love force. I think people do care for each other here. And I think that people do love one another, and they have each, like, I saw the cutest thing yesterday. These, you know, these three older men, and they drive these, not even tuk-tuks, like the little bikes. You know, they're not even like bike taxis kind of things. And I see this man, and he sort of starts to give the other one a massage, like, because I guess his friend was having some pain here, and he just starts to go on his back and just, like, you know, gives him a massage, like, a, you know, you can see he cares for his friend. You know, he sees his friend is in pain and stuff. Older, they're all like in their 40s and 50s, you know. But you see this everywhere on the streets. You see, you know, you see the friends, they care for one another. You see the ladies care for one another, and they sit all around, and you know, their shops are adjacent to one another, and they sit together and they do everything together. I think it's that love force. I think it's that love factor that overrides all these other issues, and they're issues. that should be worked on, to enhance life, to enhance the quality of life, to make it better for everybody. I'm sure, again, most people here are in excruciating pain in their body and health wise, because just by observing their food, I mean, it's, like, if you think Big Macs are bad, think again. Okay? Think again, really, like, really. Especially here, everything's fried in the oil. Oh my God, just looking at the oil will give you cancer. Okay? And yet, again, and yet, wonderful people. Wonderful, wonderful people. Uh, it is the love. It is absolutely the love factor. Uh, the caring. My friend, she had a flat tire, and within 2 minutes, somebody stopped and called her another bike and drove her where she wanted to be driven. I mean, that's in Thailand. Again, the kindness of the people here. Like, I get on my bike in Thailand every day. I just get on the bike and I get prepared. I have to leave my house with a smile, like a genuine smile, because all the time I'm encountering these beautiful farmers and they just flash you with the biggest smile, right? The genuine, right? And it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And that's something that lacks in the West. The West is very much a materialistic society that is obsessed with the material world. Here there is still that essence, that spiritual essence, I suppose. I mean, I do think also the existence and the infusion of old ancient religions such as Buddhism and Hinduism here plays a factor in these genuine smiles. People do, the older ones especially here, you'll see them, they revere the Buddha and they make offerings and it makes you more humble, right? Like the taxi driver that drove us here to the city center of Yangon. Uh, you walk into his car, it smells beautiful. He's got a Buddha statue right in front of him when he drives, right? Very nice guy. Like, oh my God, so kind, so kind. And it's, again, I think that plays a factor also, is the spirit. The spirit is very much alive in these cultures, and the spirit is love. That's what the energy equals consciousness equals light equals purity equals love. So it is that love, and people help you here, they don't think of it. They don't think of it as I'm helping you. They just do it because that's what's to be done. Sometimes even, if you're too overly thankful of them, they might even look at you weird, like, why? Like, that's just kind of how it is. Like, why are you being overly grateful? You can sense it sometimes, because it's like, to them, that's just the way it is. That's just the way you do things. Again, the spirit equals consciousness equals love equals energy equals spirit, which is, again, very much alive in these cultures here, equals love. That's the love factor that I was talking about, the X factor. And that very much lacks in the West. The love is almost absence. That cosmic love is almost absence in the West. Probably why Westerners are obsessed with romantic love, because it is sort of their only way of getting of feeling that feeling of love. People here aren't as obsessed with romantic love, because that sort of cosmic agape love is omnipresent. It is all over here. I have never, ever since I stepped here into Southeast Asia, not a single moment I felt unsafe. Not a single moment I felt uneasy. Not a single moment I felt uncomfortable. Never. Not a single moment. I always feel safe. I always feel taken care of here, because I feel it. I feel that spirit everywhere. I feel that love everywhere here. In all honesty, I have felt in these last 2 months here safer than I have ever felt in Canada. And Canada is supposed to be one of the safest countries, right? One of the most advanced. But that security, that sort of I have felt it here more, traveling to these new countries, where there's a language barrier and you don't know how it works, and I again, just I felt right at home. I felt perfectly secure, perfectly safe here, more so than I've done in Canada. And I felt, pretty safe and pretty secure in Canada, But I'm just saying here. I'm just saying. Uh, like, for example, I feel way more comfortable here. Just to give you a reference point. I feel way more comfortable here, and I haven't done it, but I'm saying I feel more comfortable dropping a tap of acid, let's say, and going into the middle of the city here, in the city center. Like if I had, let's say for example, I had a tab on me right now, and I dropped it, and I'm going just by myself. I'm in the city center here. I would feel way more safe about doing that than dropping a tap of acid and going into downtown Toronto. Like not even I would not even a comparison. That's just to show you a demonstration. I always think it's a bad idea to do that in a city. Period. In where there's a lot of energy going on and a lot of things happening and a lot of chaos. You know, I don't think it's a good idea to do it. Period. But I'm saying I would feel safer and more secure and more secure about that prospect of doing that than doing it in, say, downtown Toronto. Again, because of that spirit, you feel it, you sense it everywhere here in these cultures. And I think that's what's keeping these cultures, that's what's giving this sense of that everybody almost reports like, oh my God, people here are smiley and they seem to be more content. I think it's that X factor. That's my opinion, my experience, my perspective. So thank you to all the Patreons for your continuous and constant support. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you. I appreciate you. There's 29 of you right now. You guys are all amazing, awesome people. The people that give the one-time donations, very generous of you. Thank you so much. And if you would like to support in any way, a one-time donation or join the Patreon family, you could do so. $2 a month, $24 a year. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. Just get off your lazy ass, get out your credit card, and you know you want to. You know you want to. Okay? So, other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, may the force be with you.